Hey everybody, welcome back to the 411 from the 414. We've got a lot to talk about today. We've got things to talk about with TNA, Dixie Carter, Jeff Jarrett, the Hardys. More people are going to be able to see TNA on a weekly basis. We're also going to talk about DDP, Ravishing Rick Rude, and Bill Goldberg, all coming up right after this. All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the 411 from the 414. My name is Rusty, and we got a lot to go over today. There's a lot of news to go over. A lot of stuff seems to have come down the pipe since episode 1, and I thank everybody who has returned ever since that. As I stated in the first episode, if you want to become a part of the Patreon group for this show, the link is in the description down below. You'll get early access to this. There are 3 tiers that you can sign up for. There is a $1, a $2, and a $5 tier for Patreon. You can get in there. Go check it out. The rewards are kind of cool. You're going to dig it. And that's all I'm going to say on that. So let's get right into it. We're going to talk Hall of Fame. And we've got 2 people that are being considered as entrants into this year's Hall of Fame. It is being reported by WrestlingNews.co that Diamond Dallas Page is going to be inducted into the 2017 Hall of Fame, and we've got PW Insiders saying that Rick Rude is going to be inducted into the 2017 Hall of Fame as well. I'm going to go over both of these guys' incredible resumes of work right now so you guys know what's going on between these 2 guys. They've both had probably some of the greater careers for guys. I mean, DDP was one of the oldest guys to enter into the wrestling business. He entered in at the age of 35. That was his first wrestling match. He was 35. He won while he was in WCW, where he started out. He won the TV title and the US title. And then he also won the first of his 3 WCW heavyweight titles at Spring Stampede against Ric Flair. When he entered into the WWE, DDP came in as a stalker to The Undertaker's wife, Sarah. You might remember that angle. It didn't really go over well with a lot of people. At the time, DDP was a tag team champion with Kanyon. Who better than Kanyon? Nobody. So he was a stalker to The Undertaker's wife, where after a long but not really successful run as a heel, he and Kanyon gave up their tag team titles to the Brothers of Destruction. Kane and The Undertaker took those titles away from him, and then DDP ended up having a nice face turn in his bout with Christian. He ended up having a good run against Christian, a great program with those 2 guys that definitely knew what was going on in the ring there, and he won the European Championship from Christian in January of 2002, so that was great. Shortly after winning that European title, though, DDP suffered an injury, and he was forced out of the ring, unfortunately. It brought him to where he is now with DDP Yoga, and he has famously helped a lot of people rehabilitate their lives, including Hall of Famers Scott Hall and Jake the Snake Roberts. If you haven't seen The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, go load it up on Netflix. It'll be one of the best documentaries you've watched in a long time. DDP to this day in amazing shape. He's helping out Big Vader right now. If you haven't seen the tweets out there, he's helping Vader change his life around right now. And, you know, he's in such good shape that he was even a surprise entrant into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at this last year's WrestleMania. DDP looks like he's going to be in there. He's got a DVD coming out this March, a 3-disc DVD from WWE, so that's going to be pretty sweet to see that coming on out. Got a lot of Diamond Dallas Page coming on down the pipe. Then we've got Ravishing Rick Rude. Ravishing Rick Rude, he's a guy from the 80s, man, and one of the guys that I grew up watching during that whole Hogan era, when everything was blowing up big. Ravishing Rick Rude was the guy. In 87, he came into the WWE. He had been wrestling for a while. He'd been wrestling since about like 85. Came into the WWE as the self-proclaimed sexiest man alive, and he was immediately thrown in with the Heenan family. one of the greatest heel stables ever. I loved the Heenan family. So Rude was known for his Rude Awakening, his great neck breaker that he had, and many times during his matches, Rick Rude would go out to the audience, grab a woman, bring him into the ring, lay on a big kiss, and they would just drop to a pile of mush right there in the middle of the ring, which led to an amazing program with Jake the Snake Roberts, because unbeknownst to Rick Rude, he pulled Jake's wife into the ring. Jake got pissed off, started a program with Jake Roberts, but Rick Rude, being Rick Rude, the sexiest man alive, decided to push it a little bit and even had Jake's wife's image airbrushed onto his tights. Loved everything that went on with that. 96, Rick Rude was also in ECW. And then in 97, during the Monday Night Wars, all hell broke loose when it came to Rick Rude. He became part of DX. He was one of the original members of DX. He was the insurance policy for DX as things were going through. And then later in the year, that November, Rick Rude made history as the first person to be on both Raw and Nitro on the same night. He's pretty much the reason why Raw went live every Monday night, because Raw back in the day was taped. So they had a handshake deal going on together. Rick Rude could do what he wanted. He could be on the program. He could be wherever he wanted to, do independent dates and things like that. So he went and taped Raw one week, knew it wasn't going to be on the air till the next week. WCW knew he was going to be there for it, signed him onto a contract, and had him on Nitro the same night that the taped show aired. It was amazing. It was one of the greatest moves WCW did in the Monday Night Wars. But then sadly, just a couple of years later, in 99, Rick Rude passed away at the age of 40. He'd only captured the IC and the United States titles. A lot of people thought that he was training once again to try to come back to the WWE in some way, shape, or form. Ravishing Rick Rude being inducted to the Hall of Fame this year, according to PW Insider. We move on. We're going to talk about TNA. TNA, if you didn't know, was sold. TNA has been sold. Anthem officially took over TNA. Dixie Carter is out. Dixie Carter is no longer in control of TNA. We had a release from Anthem Sports and Entertainment that they formed Anthem Wrestling Exhibitions LLC, and they acquired full control of Impact Wrestling. So from Toronto, Canada, which is where Anthem Sports and Entertainment is from, they announced that they entered into a definitive agreement to acquire a majority interest in TNA Impact Wrestling on January 4th. This has formed Anthem Wrestling Exhibitions LLC. Anthem also owns Fight Network, the world's premier 24/7 multi-platform channel dedicated to complete coverage of combat sports, which is Impact Wrestling's exclusive broadcast partner in Canada and worldwide digital partner. Executive Vice President of Anthem Sports and Entertainment Corp., the parent company of Fight Network, said, "We are thrilled to have acquired TNA Impact Wrestling. As we grow Anthem's linear, digital, and mobile platforms globally, top-tier content with global appeal is the key to that success, and this acquisition is a perfect strategic addition to our portfolio. Impact has been a dominant wrestling brand around the world for more than a decade, and we are confident that Anthem can leverage its assets and strategic partnerships to take Impact Wrestling to even greater heights." This is going to be huge because they've already got some things working in their favor. All right. Dixie Carter did have something to say as part of this statement. She said, "Anthem has been a great partner for many years. We have worked hard to find the right company who would acquire TNA, use its strategic influence, and have a long-term commitment to the brand. TNA's incredible fans, talent, and staff deserve to see the brand continue to thrive after 15 years of incredible growth I'm excited to move to a new position and work with Anthem on their global strategic plan, and I'm confident TNA Impact Wrestling is going to be a huge part of their success. Dixie Carter is going to remain a minority equity stakeholder in TNA Impact Wrestling, but not in control. What that means, we don't quite know. We're going to have to see what goes on there. But there's some things in motion going on already. PW Insiders reporting that Anthem Media and Jeff Jarrett have come to terms on a deal, and Jarrett is going to return to TNA in what looks like to be a backstage presence only. Nothing on camera. He's got his own stuff, Global Force Wrestling. He remained a minority owner for quite a long time with TNA. You know, he's one of the founders of TNA. He stayed a minority holder in the company for a long time, but returned in 2014, was inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame, worked out a deal then at that point for Dixie Carter to acquire his shares of the company, and wasn't there afterwards. Definitely with Jeff Jarrett in the mix, this definitely says Dixie Carter's not in control of what's going on. If you've got Jeff backstage trying to help get things going, and it has been said that he was at the tapings that have been going on this week, we've got a lot going on. Now, Jeff Jarrett is not ending his stuff with Global Force Wrestling, and it's believed that whatever is going on with Jeff Jarrett, it's not going to have an impact on Global Force Wrestling at all. So we'll have to see what's going on. ProWrestlingSheet.com, they're reporting that Jarrett is going to be working for TNA as an executive consultant. So definitely not an on-screen role, nothing that's going to hurt Global Force Wrestling. He's just there to help things along, like storylines. What are you doing with wrestlers? What are you going to do with TNA brand itself? Are you renaming it? What are you doing? What is Impact Wrestling going forward? Because now a lot more eyes are going to be on it. It was reported earlier this week that Impact Wrestling is going to be on Hulu very soon. There is a new deal that went through with CBS this week. For those of you that don't know, CBS owns Pop TV, and as part of that, their new agreement with Hulu, Pop TV is brought into the mix, and shows from Pop TV are now going to be on Hulu. Looking at the statement from what is going on there, they say Hulu announced on Wednesday that they've made a new agreement with CBS Corporation that will see several TV channels come to their upcoming live streaming service. One of those TV channels is Pop TV, which is the home of Impact Wrestling in the United States. This is going to give TNA more exposure in the US, and then they had a nice big press release issued from CBS. They are joining the 21st Century Fox, the Walt Disney Company, and Turner Networks in Hulu's new live TV offering. We've got a lot of stuff coming down. Live television from Hulu. It's going to be pretty cool to see TNA on Hulu. For a lot of people who can't get it, Pop TV is not on a lot of cable networks or in a tier where you just get it for free with your basic package. So if you don't have it on your Dish network or your DirecTV or your cable network, you're going to be able to see TNA very, very soon coming forward, because Hulu wants to get as many people on board to their service as possible. They want to be the new cable provider for everybody out there, whether it's for the, the $9 a month or the $12 a month, or it's commercial free. You're going to be able to get TNA wrestling showing up on your Hulu every week. And I think that is a great, great deal for them. Going to get a lot more eyes on it. You're going to get a lot more people seeing things like the broken brilliance of Matt and Jeff Hardy, who apparently TNA is trying to sign to an exclusive deal. Wrestling Observer Newsletter is reporting that TNA is trying to sign both Matt and Jeff Hardy to exclusive deals. But going to be very likely to take a lot of money to do that because the Hardys have been doing very, very well for themselves, working independent shows as well as working for TNA. I mean, you look at just not too long ago, House of Glory, JD just called a match with the Hardys and the Dudley Boys. They're doing an independent scene as well as being on TV, and it's working well for them. So now it seems, I mean, for Matt Hardy, his whole creative thing that he's got going on, that's huge. He's got to have that. He's got to be able to work and be able to do what he wants and be able to try things out without being squashed down and say, that's not going to work. Because if somebody told him, 9 months ago, this weird broken Matt Hardy thing that you're doing, not going to fly. We're not putting that on TV. We would have never seen it. We would have never seen the Broken Brilliance. We would have never seen the Great War. We would have never seen Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy, Final Deletion. We would have never seen any of that. We would have never seen King Maxwell in the ring getting a win at the age of 3. I mean, come on. This is the kind of stuff that, like, we would have never seen it, and everybody is big on it now. Back in December, USA Today's For the Win, Matt Hardy did note that anything is possible when it comes to the future of him and his character and what goes on with him, but he wants to play a much bigger role in shaping TNA's future. He said, anything is possible. My contract is up toward the end of February. Right now, if all things work out and I get my way, I want to play a bigger part and be instrumental in helping Impact Wrestling reach its fullest potential. That is the most paramount thing to me and all important. The Hall of Fame and this McMahon stuff is not something that is vital to me. If it happens later on, it happens. Will Matt Hardy, will Jeff Hardy, will they be coming to the WWE anytime soon? I don't think so. Not with Anthem Sports. Anthem Sports is now in the mix. We know that they wanted to bring more viewers into things going on. And with Anthem picking them up in Canada, this is a Canadian company picking up Impact Wrestling and working with CBS. And CBS has a deal with Hulu now to get Pop TV shown on that channel, shown on that streaming service. We're going to see a lot more TNA stuff out there. They might even move it to a different night. They might want to go at some point head to head with Raw or SmackDown. Not right now. Thursday is a great place for them to be. The WWE pretty much has wrestling on lockdown right now. They've got pay-per-views on Sundays, Raw on Mondays, SmackDown on Tuesdays, NXT, and Cruiserweights also on Tuesdays, NXT on Wednesdays. Thursday's that spot right there. You want to stay in that sweet spot of Thursday. They were forced to move away from Tuesdays as it was when the WWE decided to put SmackDown over on Tuesdays and run it live. So the future of TNA could be very bright right now. If you've got Jeff Jarrett coming back and Anthem Sports is willing to give, Matt and Jeff Hardy the leverage that they need to help make the product better and start bringing in other stars, start bringing in guys from the independents, guys from Ring of Honor, guys from, Mondo Lucha here in Milwaukee, when they decide if they want to tour around at all, that they start bringing these guys from independent wrestlings, wrestling organizations and make it a bigger thing and start getting a presence again, not only online with the streaming service, but just in general. Get the merch sales up, get things going, get people talking once again. TNA could be that show that I used to love to watch when I'd watch X Division matches with AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, all that kind of stuff. That was the stuff I loved watching back when TNA was hot and it was good to watch, and you'd watch Petey Williams hit that Canadian Destroyer, and it was so good. We didn't have WCW. We had WWE and we had some TNA, and that was it. That was it. So I think this is going to be a good thing in the long run. I want to know what you guys think. You can leave a comment about TNA and everything that's going on with them in the comment section down below. But we're going to talk now about Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg is going to be around for a little bit. Apparently, according to Wrestling Observer and WrestlingObserver.com, Bill Goldberg is going to be working more than just the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. The news out today is that Bill Goldberg is also going to be at Fastlane on March 5th, which happens to be in the 414. It's going to be in Milwaukee at the Bradley Center, and maybe I'll be at that one. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But Fastlane is coming from Milwaukee. That is the final Raw branded pay-per-view. Going into WrestleMania, Bill Goldberg is now reported to be part of the card for Fastlane. Things got changed up a little bit. You saw on Monday night the cluster of guys that were in the ring all at one time. You had Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman and Bill Goldberg, Chris Jericho, also had Kevin Owens in there, Paul Heyman's outside of the ring. We had a lot of guys out there. So we don't know where things are going to head going into Fastlane, which is right before WrestleMania, until after the Royal Rumble. But it looks like Goldberg's going to be on Fastlane. He's going to be at the Rumble. We knew that already. And he's going to be at WrestleMania. So it sounds like Bill Goldberg has 3 more pay-per-view appearances left in him. So we can expect 3 more jackhammers and 3 more spears at least, as well as he will be on TV fairly regularly now to promote the Royal Rumble, Fastlane, and WrestleMania. Noted a few times over on the site, the idea is for Goldberg and Lesnar, have some interaction at the Rumble, set up a rubber match for WrestleMania, but no idea what's going to go on at Fastlane. I mean, who knows? Maybe we're going to get Roman Reigns and Bill Goldberg going up against Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar at Fastlane. That's crazy. You know, they tease the potential of things going on with Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman, all that kind of stuff at Monday Night Raw. So we'll have to see what happens as the road to WrestleMania goes through. To me, I think having more of Goldberg on Raw is a okay thing. It's definitely a ratings boost because Raw beat SmackDown in the ratings this week. I still think that SmackDown was a much, much better program than Raw was overall. But Goldberg brings in the ratings. They even had college football going on, and they still beat SmackDown. SmackDown was down in the ratings. We'll have to see what the presence of Bill Goldberg does and what happens to the Raw rating when he leaves after WrestleMania. We don't know if he's going to stick around past WrestleMania 33, so it could be a huge boost all the way up to WrestleMania, and then he could be gone. Just like after WrestleMania 20, Bill Goldberg and Brock Lesnar gone. Once again, you're 2 big guys, and the show is over. The rating could drop. That Raw after WrestleMania could be a huge brick in their ratings. But for now, they're going to use Bill Goldberg as much as they can, get the rating up for everybody. And that is the news of the day. But just as we had in episode 1, I want to bring you guys, as always, this day in wrestling history for January 6th, 2017. Got a few things that happened in here. 22 years ago. 22 years ago today, Birmingham, Alabama, Randy Macho Man Savage made his in-ring debut for WCW with a win over Avalanche. That was a quick little match. Randy Savage came in, quick squash, done. That was his thing. But the big one, I would have to say the big one, 3 years ago. It seems like it's not even that long ago. 3 years ago, and we've talked about him twice already. 3 years ago today, WWE aired what is called Old School Raw from Baltimore, Maryland. You can go check it out on the WWE Network. The return of Jake the Snake Roberts. He had expressed his desire to return to the ring. He wanted to be in the 2014 Royal Rumble. That didn't happen. But they did 2 weeks later announced that he was going to be part of the 2014 Hall of Fame class for the WWE and was inducted by Diamond Dallas Page, who is more than likely coming into the 2017 class of WWE, and the guy that Jake the Snake Roberts credits for saving his life. Jake the Snake Roberts returned back into a WWE ring, back on stage after a very, very long time. It was good to see that moment. That old school Raw was really cool. Jake coming down, he came down to the ring. He had the snake with him. So good. So good. And to bring it around and make it Milwaukee for today, 2 years ago, CM Punk signed on with Rufus Sport here in Milwaukee, his MMA training camp. That's where he went through. If you saw the evolution of CM Punk on ESPN, that's all the stuff was at Rufus Sport. Duke Rufus is the man when it comes to training dudes up. I tell you, he's unbelievably good. Him, Coach Kush, I trained with those guys. I know what happens at Rufus Sport. For people that are like, you're full of crap, Rusty, you can check the channel from a few years back and find my story about how I took a leg kick from Pat Barry during one of the classes, and I couldn't walk for like days. It was unbelievably bad, and that was the reason I don't do that anymore, because I don't like getting beat up all that much. I was there for a workout, there to get things going, kind of get my speed, get my wits about me, all that kind of stuff. And I got punched in the head pretty good a couple times by Coach K, and I got leg kicked by the hardest leg kicker in the world at the time. Holy crap. It's no joke over there at Rufus Sport, but CM Punk started his MMA training 2 years ago today, January 6th. That's all we've got for the 411 from the 414. Remember, if you want early access to everything we've got going on here every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, check the link to the Patreon down in the description down below. You can get in for as little as $1, and there's perks at $2 and $5. $5, not $3. Perks at $1, $2, and $5. You can check that all out over at patreon.com/Falcon1974. For those of you who do decide to sign up over there, thank you so much. You help bring a lot of stuff to the show that you don't see, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And until next time, this is Rusty. I'm out.